Hello! Okay, to the new listeners, give me a minute. I promise I will introduce myself, but let me explain to my especially viewers and maybe listeners what is going on because there's something different. So, I am about to fold this huge pile of my laundry. If you're watching the video, you will see. And I decided to do a little bit of multitasking. So I'll be folding the laundry and I will tell you things that I've been wanting to tell you. I even made little notes I prepared today. And yeah, obviously I was, okay, let me already start. But obviously I was missing, for a little while, because, this podcast is truly just my passion project and, unfortunately it doesn't make a lot of money. It does make something though because girls, I have made a whole $1.20 from my streams. So thank you for contributing to, this financial success. But yeah, it does not pay the bills yet. Who knows? But because I really, really enjoy doing it, once upon a time, I'm like, I really want to record an episode. But then, life happens and I have to do grown up stuff, ill. Unfortunately, this is the last priority as it doesn't give me any revenue. But right now, I have some free time and because I have a holiday from one of my jobs. And I have this huge pile of my laundry to fold. And like I just said, I decided to do a little multitask. So I decided to record another episode. And who knows, maybe it's kind of satisfying for some of y'all to see me doing something. Or maybe I'll inspire you to do the same. So if you have some laundry to fold, girl or boy, go get it and let's fold the laundry together. So yeah, this is my intro for my viewers and people who know me a little bit. But if you're new here, let me tell you what's going on, who am I, and what you're about to hear. So my name is Nicole, and I am your host. And yeah, today we are going to chit chat a little bit about life. I have some topics that I wanted to discuss. And truthfully, this podcast is about everything and anything, but I called it Girls Talk with Nicole because it's literally whatever Nicole has to say to you. Me is Nicole. But it's a lot of times female centered. I am thinking of changing the name to Comfy Pumpy Pot because it's just a thing that I always say, Comfy Pumpy. And usually when I'm recording, I am Comfy Pumpy. So, maybe soon we are going to rebrand. But I think today, it's still, they're still with Nicole. Anyways, so what we're going to talk about today? Well, we're going to start from something, happy, sad, truthfully. Fortunately, it's more happy than sad. But I've had a little cancer scare, a short while ago, and it really was a little wake up call for me. I'll tell you about it in a minute. Then I am, let me take a look at my notes. I am going to give you not really a tip, but I wanted to discuss a little bit about being a woman and feeling beautiful because I've been having conversations with my girlies. And I thought that it's a nice thing to share also with my listeners and viewers whatsoever. And then, my neighbors are screaming outside. And then I thought that it would be really cute to close it off a little bit on a positive note. And since once upon a time I worked with teenagers, actually boys, teenage boys, I thought it would be cute to share something mega wholesome that I experienced with them. So, in my job, sometimes I have to have conversations with teenagers and I ended up discussing with them life, like relationships, success, etc. And then they ended up kind of sharing their advice on love, relationships, friendships, and success. And I thought it was super wholesome. So that's going to be the end of the podcast. Okay. Now let's rewind to the cancer thing. So let me tell you, girl. Some while ago, I all of a sudden started feeling a lump in my breast. And obviously it freaked me out. And then also at the same time, I got like super sick. I had fever and just wasn't feeling well. Also, my breast was hurting. So obviously, like any overthinker would do, I instantly went on Google search, ChatGPT, and whatsoever. And I was like, yeah, that's it. Okay, my time on this planet is about to end. But fortunately, um, especially ChatGPT, I must give it up to her because I call her actually calmed me down a little bit because it said that if you are having pain, it's probably not cancer because cancer apparently usually is a painless lump, which I wasn't aware of. But she said that it's likely an infection, but obviously I did also call a doctor. And here the scary part started. So, I was just in my office job and then I had a moment, I was like, okay, let me call the doctor and make an appointment. Now, mind you, I live in the Netherlands. So in the Netherlands, usually when you call a doctor and you come with any complaints, first on the phone, they do anything they can to make you not come. So they're like, oh, did you drink water? And I don't know how bad it is. How bad is it? Like they always ask you. So they don't really take you seriously quickly, right? And then also when you end up eventually getting a visit and you go to a GP, they usually still send you away with some very lame advice, like getting a paracetamol or going for a walk or having some water or rest, right? So, unlike in Poland, where I'm from, they won't send you for some extra research or give you a proper medication real quick. So that's my experience, and I know that a lot of foreigners have a similar experience here. Now, so there we are, right? It's just a casual, I don't know, Friday afternoon at work, and I'm calling my GP. And I told the lady, like, well, I would like to have a checkup because I've been having this lump. And then she asked me if I had a fever. And I was like, well, yes. And then she's like, is it hurting? And I was like, well, yes. And then she was like, get here right now. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Because, I mean, my job is pretty flexible, but I cannot just be like, oh, well, sorry, you guys, got a doctor's appointment that I didn't know is going to come up. So I told the lady, like, okay, look, I cannot just leave my job now. She's like, you have to leave. Your health is more important. And she sounded so serious that it scared me, So, I went to a colleague with like tears in my eyes and I was like, look, I know it's not convenient, but I really have to go to the doctor. And, I told them a little bit like about what's going on. And they're like, okay, we got you covered. And, they took over my responsibility for a couple hours so I could go to the doctor. Now, when I was driving to the doctor's appointment, I was already like literally planning my funeral. Like, call me drama queen, but I can't help it. That's exactly how I felt. Also, days prior, because let's say I felt that lump on Tuesday and that was Friday. So between Tuesday and Friday, I was like alone with my thoughts because I was like, okay, usually I would talk to my mom about serious stuff like that, but with this type of thing, I didn't want to freak her out. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna ask her. Um, so I was like a little bit alone with my thoughts. I didn't want to ask my friends because, again, I didn't want to like say it and just, talk about scary things like that. And I haven't had any experience with like breast research or lumps or anything. Like, once upon a time I would like feel them, but until now I've never felt anything in my breast. And also in my family there was a lot of cancer. So yeah, overthinking 1100. So I'm driving to the hospital, to the GP, and then like I arrived and I had my check, and the lady was like, "Okay, it's probably not the C word. It's not the cancer." But she was like, "I just really want to make sure that you're okay, so we're going to send you for mammography. I think it's called in English, like the professional squeeze breast check." So I was like, okay, it's nice what she says, kind of calmed me down, but then at the same time freaked me out because, it's the Netherlands, and instead of just sending me away and telling me to just take some rest and, let it pass, she's sending me to an actual hospital. So, oops, not good. So, I came back to work, and then um, after that, after I think it was a Monday on Tuesday, I had an appointment at the hospital. And also, that appointment was scheduled again during my work hours, which meant that I had to let my manager know. And I felt really bad because actually, because, of them confidence trips and everything, I've been absent quite a while. And my job has been very flexible with me when it comes to like changing the schedule because I also do other stuff. But that was like that period of time when I was like away a lot and I didn't want to push it. So I was like, now I really have to tell her the truth and like explain why I need another change in schedule. So I sent her a screenshot of like the appointment confirmation. I was like, look, I have to like go for this checkup and I'm very nervous and I really don't want to like postpone it. So then, now my manager is involved and she knows what's going on. Then my colleagues who are responsible for the schedule had to be also notified. So they knew what's going on. So everyone was like so delicate with me. And like that again pushed me to overthink even more. The story ends well. Obviously, I'm alive. And fortunately, it was just an infection. But those few days when I was, on the edge and I was really like reflecting and yeah, like thinking of women whose path unfortunately goes other way. Like, it starts from feeling lump and then hoping maybe for the best, but then having those fears and then you actually end up hearing the bad news instead of the good news. That really like made me think more about life and it made me like regain a new will to live really and like I don't know this like new energy to actually enjoy life and yeah that's why I want to tell you about it because there's like this like I mean it's maybe so obvious but there's this like life lesson that just got back on my like priority list to as cliche as it sounds really enjoy and appreciate life because like you never know how much time you have on this planet like literally you wake up every day and you will never know if this is your last day until that final moment. I mean obviously like when you end up being terminally ill and doctors like tell you you kind of can like mentally prepare like okay it's probably months left rather than years but in generally as a healthy individual you just don't know like am I going to make it to like 80, am I going to make it to 50, and therefore it's just so important to enjoy and appreciate every single day. And on that note I also thought about like work life balance and chasing success because a lot of us, including myself, a lot of time thinks that you really have to work hard so that you can have a better future. And, we go to school and we always say like, okay, I gotta like sacrifice now and then later on I will enjoy and, you work hard nonstop and you don't make time for your friends, for your family because you hopefully build a better future. But I feel like we really have to find balance between that. Yes, of course, like don't get lazy and chase your dreams and work hard, but then also you have to find the balance to actually do enjoy life and see your friends and attend family gatherings if it's important to you. So I came up with this theory of like having 60-40 balance, which is you do 60% of things that you enjoy and 40% of things that you don't necessarily enjoy, but they're necessary, such as, for instance, I don't know, going to work, going to school. But still, I really truly believe that if you can, because obviously not everybody can afford it, but if you can, as in like in my position, I can, you should try to strive to like have this, like I said, balance where the majority of your life is things that you love, being with people you love, doing things you love. And it doesn't always have to be something crazy, right? Like, I don't know, traveling to Bahamas, but sometimes it's just small things like pausing while having your favorite cup of coffee or like having a good melting hug with your partner or with your best friend, that just really like be present in that few seconds. It should be 6 seconds, by the way, apparently, according to the research on TikTok, because this is when your oxytocin starts to being released. So any hug shorter than 6 seconds doesn't really count, apparently. But you know what I mean, right? So yeah, this is my lesson and reminder, and also, of course, another reminder for them ladies out there, and apparently men as well, because I learned that men, I learned it from TikTok, by the way, so correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently men also can have breast cancer. But obviously, apparently, it's more common, like, within the ladies. So go and check yourself out there. Make sure to like really squish that breast, and once upon a time, maybe it's worth it to go for a mammography and have it really checked. Insane experience, by the way, since we're on it. So like when you have mammography, the way they squish your booby is interesting. Like, I have like medium size, I would say. And the way like she squished it and put it flat on this table made me think, I'm sorry if I'm too explicit, but it really made me think of like ladies with big breasts, because then it's like a massive pancake. Because, and in case you are not aware what mammography looks like, it's like they're grabbing your breast and then put it on this like kind of table thing, and then from the top there's this other part that goes down, and then eventually it ends up like squishing your breast, so that they can see if there's anything in it. But like you have to like put it on this like a little table, and then this doctor like maneuvers it to like make sure that like whole breast is on it. Interesting. Um, but yeah, so that was like a little wake up call, and yeah, it ended up being an infection, so I got an antibiotics, and now we are good. The lump is gone. But yeah, that's also something that I wish like we women were more informed about. That obviously you have to check your breasts, but also it can happen that you have an infection, and like being able to recognize when it's possibly an infection, when it's not. So I will tell you what I have learned is that, like I said at the beginning, usually if it's painful, it is infection. And if it's a lump that's, I'm not sure anymore, if it's a lump that's like moving and it's not painful, then it's a little bit more scary news, but not necessarily, yeah. But long story short, please test yourself and enjoy life, even if it's like tiny, teeny things. So that's one thing. Okay, moving on to the next topic. We almost done with the laundry. Okay, partly. What did I want to say next thing? Yeah, dressing up and looking gorgeous. So I had this conversation with a few women in general, like with my friends, but also like with women who attend my dance classes, about dressing up. Especially in the Netherlands, we have this culture where even if you work in corporate, like myself, I mean, I don't really work in like a big corporate company, but I do work in the office. Um, you don't really have to dress up. Like, truthfully, you could pull up with like, I mean, some days, depending on the department I'm working at, I can literally just pull up with leggings and Crocs, and it's fine. And, I feel like I feel like I know because I've been here for a long time. In the Netherlands, we just have this culture that being casual, it's okay. Again, even if you work in actually like a proper corporate company, you can still come with sneakers and jeans, so you don't really have to like wear elegant attire, right? And that makes us lazy because, correct me if I'm wrong again, because obviously I haven't been living in Poland for like 15 years, so I don't know exactly like how it's changed. I'm pretty sure it's westernized a little bit by now, but still in Poland, when the way I know it, women especially dress up more, so like for the job that I have, like even my mom, when she sees me sometimes going to work, she's always like mega shocked. She's like, are you allowed to come in like that, for your job? You should like dress really nice with like blues and like a skirt and I don't know, some high heels and stuff. And sometimes I do wear these things to work, but it's not really that my job requires it. It's just for myself to connect with my Eastern European roots and also like to kind of feel more feminine. And I had this conversation with women about like dressing up indeed to just kind of like reconnect with our femininity, because otherwise we would be just like wearing oversized juicy pants and Uggs or Crocs depending whether it's summer or winter forever, because it's comfy and you're kind of getting used to it. But then once you dress up, that feeling that you get is so nice. So, for instance, my friend Brit said that she had this agreement with herself that even if she works from home, she will dress up and like I think even do makeup for herself to like feel put together. And then I had this same conversation with a girl who attends my private classes. By the way, in case you're interested, I teach private heels, twerk, and everything in between. But yeah, so she said the same thing that she kind of like tries to rearrange her wardrobe because she's been feeling like she's kind of not connected with her body. And then we started talking about it like how nice it is sometimes to just dress up for yourself, even if you're not going anywhere. And again, like I'm very pro comfort, like I'm very westernized in that sense. And I freaking love being comfortable and also as a dancer, obviously, for the longest time, I just literally lived in sweats, leggings, and oversized hoodies. But I, I definitely can tell you that, I don't know, in my case, maybe it doesn't apply to like all ladies, but in my case, when I dress up and wear my heels and like nice dress and do a little bit of makeup, it makes me feel something, something nice. So maybe it's a nice inspiration or push for you guys to once upon a time try it out and see how it makes you feel. If it doesn't work for you, that's okay. Yeah, that's another thing that I wanted to tell you in this little chit chat that I'm having with you, aka with myself. Well, we actually going pretty fast, as in with talking, not really with folding. I don't know. And the last thing before I let you go for today, let me know if you enjoy it, by the way. Like, I actually am this little teeny weeny rant. Um, and I don't know, I kind of can imagine that for some people watching, it's kind of satisfying how this like huge pile of clothes kind of becomes more organized as we speak. So yeah, it's giving like this cleaning videos vibes. But anyways, so yeah, the teenagers. So like I said, once upon a time I worked with teenagers, mostly boys, and they are approximately 18. And my job requires talking to them, a lot of times one-on-one. So I discussed with them like life, etc. And then I ended up like asking them because sometimes they would like tell me about their girlfriends, and some of them also like have their like little businesses. Like one of them, for instance, has um football career. Other one is a barber already, and he's just 18 and he's doing pretty well. So I was like, okay, like what advice would you give to people? And so like with the ones that were telling me about the girlfriends, I was like, okay, so like what do you think makes a relationship successful, right? Like what do you think is important? So I was like mega curious, like, okay, what an 18-year-old boy can, like, what advice can he give you? Because yes, they're young, they have very little experience, and sometimes they're so delulu with like how life works. But then on the other hand, just like with like little children of 6, because they maybe don't have that much experience, but yet they do have a little bit, they just view world like very differently, and sometimes it's very refreshing. So with the relationship advice, I thought it was so cute because they said that you first of all have to communicate well your priorities. So you both have to clearly communicate with each other what's important for you. Like for instance, one of them, like I said, he's a football player, and he told me that he just communicated from the beginning with his girlfriend that football right now is his main focus, and he expects the same from her to like be clear about her priorities. And then another advice that I really like that they gave me or told me is that you should go on dates regularly, and you should schedule them. Very Dutch of them as well, but really nice. They were like, yeah, you should like even if you're busy, go at least once a month for a date. And I was like, oh, I really like, it's very grown up of them, and I really hope that as the years pass by, they won't change and shift these priorities, because those are really good. There's some growing up to do when it comes to different things, but I really hope that this one will stick with them. Then I spoke with other person about making friends, because that person actually moved from South Africa to the Netherlands when he was like 10, I think. And um, he told me what was it like when he moved here, because obviously he didn't speak Dutch, and he was, he left his friends that he grew up with back home. And, for kids like this that move at this young age, it's like a tragedy sometimes, because you're leaving everything and like you leave your first big friendships that you build sometimes throughout your whole life. So you know again, it's a big deal, right? um so then he like I asked him like, okay, how do you do that? Like, what advice would you give to someone who just moved to a whole new country where they don't know anything, they don't know the language? And I think this advice is very valuable for us foreigners, and I know even like a lot of adults have the same problem. And what he said makes so much sense, and I actually stand by it very strongly. So basically, he said that the best thing you can do is to sign up for something that you like, whether it's like football, yoga, whatever, and then just meet people who like what you like. As simple as that. And I know this works because this is what happened to me in the Netherlands. Like I moved here as a teenager, and yeah, like I also have lived my whole life back home. And the best, closest, long-lasting friendships that I made were through dancing. Like I signed up for dance class, and I just kept on attending dance class, and eventually I just met people who became more than just faces I would see every week. We would start hanging out, and now we are 15 years later, and we are very close friends. Um, so maybe it's very useful for you. Maybe if you're an adult who just moved to a different country or city and you struggle finding friends, just try to like sign up for something that you think you could enjoy. And I can tell you also from different perspective as a dance teacher, I see that as well with women. Like, I have women attending my dance classes, and some of them also have children. So, their life is very busy, of course, and they have husbands at home and jobs and all these things to take care of. So you would think, okay, like they're way too busy to make friends. But then every Wednesday they just come for this one dance class, which is Hugh's class in their case, and this is when they meet other women who also maybe have kids, who are also maybe foreigners. So then they connect on like multiple layers, right? Because both of them came for dance class. Next to this, both of them are foreigners. Both of them have children, maybe similar age. And then every week after dance class, they just stay maybe for like half an hour to like chit chat a little bit, and gradually, that's how you build up friendship, right? Boom, there you go. Because a lot of people say, like, oh, yeah, when you're grown up or when you have jobs and families, it's so much more difficult to make friends. And it's true, but it's not impossible. So there you go. Another advice from an 18-year-old, which makes a lot of sense. And it's a really good one. So take it. And the last one was about success. So, like I said, some of them are already doing great things. Like my favorite one is the one that has a barber business. Because how cool is that? Like he just started like experimenting with hair cutting, and he discovered he has a thing for it and passion, and he started learning more and more. And now, boom, he's making that money And the other one, like I said, is a football player. So I was like, okay, what's the key to become successful? And the advice that stick with me the most was saying saying that simple advice that you just have to be consistent and not let people tell you that you're not good enough. You just have to believe in yourself, regardless what other people say. And I was like, yeah, that is also so true, and it's so nice that they have this confidence. So yeah, that is what I wanted to share with you guys. And boom, the laundry is almost folded. My wisdom is almost shared. I mean, my wisdom is already shared, and podcast is recorded. How great is that? A little multitasking. And I kind of feel like I really stick to like the point of all of this that I wanted to say. I feel like, because I have ADHD, sometimes I tend to like go, how do you call it? I tell side stories a lot, which I consider extended context. Um, but I feel like I managed to stick to the main point. So yay! Congratulations to me. Okay, I'm gonna let you go to not make it too long, and then I think I'm just going to like watch a series for the rest of this laundry folding endeavor, and I will see you hopefully soon. I feel like if I can record this podcast while I'm doing something, I was thinking maybe like when I drive, um, it should work. I should be more consistent. And then who knows, maybe from $1 we'll make it to $5, and then poof, one day I'll be a full-time dancer and podcaster. Inshallah. All right. Big kisses. Thank you so much for watching, and I will speak to you soon. I can't promise when, but I'll be back, as you know. I always am.